Good morning, sir. Eh. Are you? Eh. Good morning. Something. Okay. That one is titled Bank Alert by P Square. Okay, when they were still together. Okay. Good morning, everyone, wherever you're joining me from. This is PFthinks, episode 79. Thereabout. Okay, I think we're gradually going to hit day 80. Wow. So I tell people that I've taken on a lot of challenge. I've created some of the most important courses around the globe. By God's grace, our family system engineering certification program is now regarded as one of the top family life courses, around the globe. It's a model we've tested in the US now, and it's looking good. And for the first time, we're having more foreign students take the course online since we launched than even Nigerians. And I'm so excited at the feedback we're getting about family system engineering certification program. One of the students had called me yesterday to say she literally broke down, when she was taking a particular module, because it brought her life right into a presence, and she'd realized that in some other areas that she thought she had healed, she didn't really heal. And yesterday she was able to forgive the people that really hurt her. So people come to class thinking that they were just coming to learn how to psychoanalyze and help couples and all the family troubled family related issues, but they realize that the first thing we want to do is to allow you fix yourself. That's why it's called engineering system, because when the human engineering is totally transformed, then you'll be able to transform other people. So that's one of the most important courses that I've led a faculty to create in my years of existence. But I'll tell you, this morning challenge, this PFthinks, is one of the most audacious tasks I have had to do, to sit here 3 a.m. every day, bringing content around the year. It's very audacious for me, but I'm excited about it. And we're not going to water down the value of what we have to do and what we have to share. Someone had reached me 3 days ago to say, Praise, why are you doing this for free? And I said, okay, I could as well be sleeping at 3 a.m., doing nothing, right? But you see, the totality of our life must be the value we have to humanity, because our life is going to be measured by our degree of donation, not our accumulation. And that ties into what we're talking about today. Now, so far, we've looked at 7 common mistakes married men make. And today, we look at mistake 8, which is bad financial decisions. Bad financial decision is number 8. Now, one of the things that troubles me about the black race is the fact that, when people make money, we know, even when you listen to our songs like the one I played, we talk about money in terms of accumulation, in terms of toys. We do not talk about money in terms of assets, right? So, last week or so, one of the biggest fraud lords in Nigeria, no, not in Nigeria, in Dubai, was caught because he doesn't live in Nigeria, but he's a Nigerian. The guy called Osh Poppy. Right. Every time I see that guy on social media and I see the way people praise him, something just dies inside of me to say our society has become totally messed up, that we worship money literally, right? That even the people who should speak the truth suddenly become subjective in their, truth when money is brought to the fore. So they will begin to call, their kid brother, Baba, once they see money. And that's what has played out with Osh Poppy, that Osh Poppy displayed a whole lot of cars, latest cars. He displayed his houses. In his house, he displayed the fact that Versace, everything in his house is Versace. Now, how much can a man make legitimately to afford that kind of lifestyle, right? Now, in the midst of the display of his affluence, nobody, not, except for a few, I'm glad one of the people that first called him out was Wuli Arule, and it was just doing comedy, and I had to call Arule to say, what did you see? I'm so proud of you that even the people who want to sanitize, the environment, went to sit with Osh Poppy, and, they were carried away by his wealth. The first question everyone needs to ask is, what exactly do you do for a living? If you are a Nigerian and you live in Nigeria and you have made ₦1 million before, legitimately, you will know that it takes you blood and sweat to do a legitimate 1 million in Nigeria without cutting corners. Now, when you make your money legitimately, you will know that there are things you can't afford to be spending the money on because you knew what exactly it took you to make ₦1 million. Which is why if you look at the top 10 people on Forbes list of the richest men in the world, you would hardly see them flaunt cars. You would hardly see them flaunt houses, right? They talk about their companies, So when you see Jeff Bezos, it keeps talking about Amazon. When you talk about Elon Musk, you keep saying that they're reinvesting, what is making into what is going to make humanity better. When you hear Bill Gates talk, Bill Gates talks in terms of the vaccine, in terms of, the healthcare, in terms of how to preserve lives. When you hear Warren Buffett talks, when you hear Jack Ma, when you hear Mark Zuckerberg, Sergey Brin, and all these guys, when you see what they flaunt their brain, they flaunt the solution they bring to humanity. But a lot of us, blacks, when we make little money, we want to show off the kind of cars, the kind of toys we buy. We do not show big companies that we create. We do not show how many people we have employed. What we focus on, is to display our latest shoe, our latest designers, right? It was my mentor who told me many years ago, Dr. Miles Monroe, that it is not what you wear that makes you a royalty. It is who you are that should make what you wear royal. So Bill Gates can easily come into Nigeria and nobody will notice him because of the kind of car he's going to drive and the kind of lifestyle and the clothes he wears, right? One of the biggest players in Manchester United is a guy called Bruno Fernandes. And Bruno Fernandes, drove into training yesterday with a very, very cheap car, right? And they had to comment that this guy, since he came into Manchester United, even though he has a lot of money, he has not been very, very flashy. Now, there is nothing wrong if you are very flashy with your money, if you make it legitimately. But what I've realized is money has wings and it can fly away. We have seen billionaires become paupers, right? Because they didn't manage money effectively. We have seen people like Mark Tyson go bankrupt simply because they made a lot of money, but because of bad financial decision, the money developed wings and it flew away. Money is a currency. It always flows from the region of the have-nots to the region of the haves, right? That if you learn how to respect money, and money will flow in your direction consistently. That a lot of us, that we make money, we don't know how to manage money, we don't know how to multiply money, and we don't know how to deploy money, right? So one of the core mistakes a lot of married men make is bad financial decision. Now, on a survey list of 100 people at 25 on a career path till 65 in America, it was discovered at age 65 that 54% were still dependent, 16% are still working, 24% are dead, 5% are independent, only 1% was financially free, right? That's it was in America. This was survey was taken a number of years ago. Now, what is the hope in Africa where an average person lives on less than $1, per day? Now, a lot of married people do not know that manhood is not the same thing as financial intelligence. The fact that you are the man of the house doesn't mean that you are financially intelligent. It's one of the errors many of us make. I made that mistake when I first got married. In the first 3 years of marriage, I thought that husbandhood is the same thing as financial intelligence. So my wife was the banker. I was an entrepreneur. She made more money, but the money was given to me and I squandered the money. Right. Ask me, what did I spend the money on? Right. I just suddenly felt that I could solve the problem of the world. So if I saw any problem, I wanted to fix it. If I saw anyone who had a need, of 200,000 and above, I wrote a check, right? I was very stupid, right? I didn't think of the future. I didn't think of how to invest. I didn't even know about investment, because the people that also groomed me, what they taught me was, once you make money, sow it to the kingdom, that was all I had. Nobody talked to me about investment. Nobody talked about buying properties or something. I didn't hear that. So when I went into any service and they made a call for people who wanted to donate, I went to stand up. Right. So I would write up the check. And those were days that I used to train banks. If you live in Nigeria, I used to train banks way back. And I was earning 300,000 per day that I showed up in any bank to run their training. 300,000 per day. Right. There were weeks I did 3 trainings. Right. That was like 900K. Right. But at the end of every year, in those first 3 years of the marriage, right, my account resets itself to zero. My income always went back to zero. No investment, no net worth, nothing, right? But the only thing I did was maybe I also invested in my intellect. I invested in my company. But when it came to proper investment, my wife warned me. I did not listen, right? I kept telling her, you know what? Let us sow into the kingdom because God is going to reward us. There is nothing wrong with sowing into the kingdom, but a lot of us do not know that there are seasons in your life. Many of us are sowing, to others in our season where you should be building your war chest, right? That what I've realized with the rich people is that the rich people first focus on themselves. They focus on their investment and on the trade, and they invest so well that the return on their investment is what they now give out. And what they do is they build their war chest properly so that when they now start giving, they can give sustainably for the rest of their life. Bill Gates first focused on Microsoft before he started giving. Mark Zuckerberg focused on Facebook and he made it profitable before he started giving. And now they can give sustainably, right? So you find Jack Ma and these guys, they built Alibaba and Alipay before they started giving. What many of us do is to start giving without building nothing. And that's why you find a generation that is very, very upset with God because they feel that God has not done so well for them. They feel they have given and sown seeds, right? And they can't reap because they were wrongly taught that all you need to do is to just give money. God does not spend your currency, right? And when you give to God, God repays you in form of an idea, but you also still need to respond to that idea. So the concept of sowing seed was not balanced in the way we have taught it over the years, right? So an average married man thinks that money and financial intelligence is the same thing as manhood. So when we make money, what do we think about? We spend money on shoes and toys and cars. We buy the latest car. So there are people right now who are driving their future, right? That the car that you could drive in the future, you're driving it now. And you do not know that when you bring that car in, the moment you drove it out of the car lot, it becomes a liability because whatever takes money out of you is a liability, especially when it has no resellable value, right? So many of us, since COVID now, our car is on a permanent vacation. We cannot move it out, but that machine for some of us is costing like 6 million, 7 million, 10 million and above. That's a machine you're parked down. That is not a car that you can use for taxi. That's not a car that you can use for Uber, right? But it's parked down. You are looking at it. It's become a monument that you worship, right? You keep spending money on it. It's not bringing anything to you because you can't even drive for meetings because the entire world is under lockdown. Once your esteem is tied to economics, money becomes a tool for manipulation in your family. So a lot of men, they feel less than who they are the moment they don't have money in their hand. That if money, a lot of us don't own money. Money owns us, which is why you keep looking into your bank account. The moment your account drops to 100,000, you become agitated. Truth is, there is no difference between a person who has a million and a person who have one kobo, right? Because the man's life does not consist in the abundance of what he possesses. You must be yourself, irrespective of what you have. And money must not become a tool for manipulating your wife, manipulating your money. A lot of men, if they take away their money, they become less of who they are, right? They feel they're going to lose power. One of the most stupid financial decisions a man can make is keeping investment and financial decisions away from his wife, right? When I used to consult for banks, we used to humorously joke about a particular bank that has become the biggest bank in Nigeria simply because the bank is living on the money of dead men who did not open up about their financial investments to their spouses, right? You know what it means when a man dies and his family becomes poor simply because they don't know his investment. He does not carry his wife along. So a lot of men put money in savings and their wives didn't know in the days of passbook, and the moment they died, they didn't even know because they didn't write any will, right? It's a stupid financial decision to be keeping finances away from your spouse. If you can't trust your spouse with your money, with what you bring in, it is foolhardy to trust her with your body. How dare you trust your wife with your body? You have sex with her, but you cannot trust her with your ATM. You do not trust her with your salary. An average woman out there does not even know what their husband earns. What kind of family is that? But you know what your wife earns. Your wife does not know what you earn, or you don't even know what each of you earn, right? Yet you say you're a couple and you say you are building a family. The question is, what kind of family are you building when your money is your money, your money is your money, right? That's the kind of life you guys live. Truth is, if you are not financially intelligent, you may soon lose all you have, and until your financial paradigm changes, your life may not change. I love the way Proverbs put it. It says, a fool and his money are soon parted. That if you are not financially intelligent, what will take money away will take money away from you. And that's why you see people get into Ponzi scheme, right, that looks too good. So someone says, bring 100,000. We will give you 20,000 every month, right? And you are following that order, not knowing that your money is soon going to be taken away from you. You know, I see a lot of people say to people on social media, come, let me teach you how to make 7 digits. Let me teach you how to make 8 digits. The truth about life is, especially with the Black Africans, is that if we truly know how people can do 8 digits, right, we will not tell them, right? That is something in us. We do not disclose our secrets, right? So when someone says, let me show you how to do 8 digits, the person wants to recruit you into something in many cases, right? And people have been recruited into all kinds of things. So they'll tell you, come and do network marketing. You can do it on the side. It is not difficult. You can combine things. Let me shock you. There is no network marketing you do that doesn't take your life. It's the same process. You need 100% devotion for you to build a career out of network marketing. I am telling you, I have done it before. And many a time, only 5%, of the 100% make the money in network marketing. Only 5% make 95% of the money in network marketing, because network marketing is built on hype. The next thing, the next product, let us hype it, right? But there's a 5% cash it out consistently. If you want to be among the 5%, that's fantastic. But let it be known that it's a lot of hard work. It's not as it's been said, right? Because oftentimes they leverage on your ignorance. But network marketing is a fantastic model to scale anything you want to scale if you know how it works. But it's a lot of hard work. It's not easy work. So if you are not financially intelligent, you may lose all you have in spite of your manhood. And a lot of men have put their family in crisis. You take a man who never listens to his wife and, carries all his money to go and donate to a cause in the name of God told me, he carries his capital and donates it and is back to square one. Your child is being sent out of school. A lot of evil is happening to you. You can't even feed your family. What kind of man are you, right? What kind of God will make you donate your capital, right? And God is too intelligent and he doesn't need your money, by the way, right? So consistently, people take bad financial decisions that if you listen to your wife, you may likely be rescued from the sentiment of what you want to do. People carry billions or millions and they go and invest in what they don't understand. Truth is, any investment that you don't understand fully, you are likely going to lose your money. As a matter of fact, I say to people right now that any investment that I don't understand the back end and the dynamics, I'm not going to put my money, because people have lost money. I have lost money in times past, And a lot of us are still losing money because we fail to listen to our wives. How many times have you been appealed to by your wife to attend a session that is capable of changing your life and help you build transgenerational wealth, that you refused under a guise that you know what you're doing? There is something about us as men that makes us feel we know what you are doing. We say that all the time, but let me shock you. Every time you say you know what you are doing, it's actually a clue that you know nothing about what you are doing, right? Because anytime you feel the air of invincibility, that's the most vulnerable moment of your life, and it means a crash is imminent. For the first 3 years of marriage, I handle family finance. I'm not proud of it. Family finance reset itself to zero because I didn't think about tomorrow. All I thought about was spending today. But guess what? On the 4th year of our marriage, we went to play a game in the 4th year, and the game was cash flow 101. Every time as we play the game is structured in a way that you need to beat the rat race. We beat the rat race and we won, not because I partook. All I was doing was roll the dice. My wife was the one taking the financial decision in that game. From that game, I realized that there was no devil taking my money away, because that was what I began to pray. Every demon taking my money away, die by fire. There was no demon. I was the demon, because ignorance was what I traded with. You will know the truth, and the truth you know will set you free. If you are not financially intelligent, you're going to lose your money. From the 4th year, we said, okay, let my wife handle family finance, right, while she placed me on a budget. So by placing me on the budget, I could no longer do the recklessness I was living with family finance. So they placed me on a budget of, I think, monthly of about 50K. Which included money, fuel for my car, which included refreshment at work, right? So I could, even if I wanted to sow a seed, I could not sow beyond 50,000 because that was my money. The rest of the money belonged to family, and it was saved away from us in an escrow account, right? And that was what saved us, that we now began to build assets. Now, let me ask you a number of questions, right? And it's a yes and no question. Now, if you answer yes, if you have 5 yeses on your list, then there is crisis, right? Crisis, right? If you have about eight yeses, okay, let me put it this way. Now, okay, let me read the questions so that we can properly appropriate this and I don't mix it up, right? If your yes is less than 4, you are in crisis. If your yes is less than 5, you are in a state of crisis and you need to do something that is matter of urgency. Number 1, we earn more than we spend. We earn more than we spend. Is that yes or no for you? If you are spending more than you are earning, then that will be a no, right? Number 2, we can maintain our present standard of living if we don't earn a salary for the next 3 months. We can maintain our standard of living if we don't earn an extra income for the next 3 months. Number 3, we have a clear budget we try to maintain against all odds. We have a clear budget that we try to maintain against all odds. Number 4, we have an escrow account that is strictly for investment in passive income earning assets that we never touch no matter what happens, right? Number 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5, we have a clear financial freedom plan that is known to both of us. Number 6, my wife is usually involved before I give to a major cause. My wife is usually involved before I give to a major cause. Number 7, we track our income and expenditure as a family, and we know all we spend. We track our income and expenditure as a family, and we know all that we spend. Number 8, the most financially prudent person in our family handles family finance for us. The most financially prudent person in the family handles family finance for us. Number 9, we have at least 4 streams of income. We have at least 4 streams of income. Is that a yes or no? Then number 10, we regularly sit to talk about our financial future as a family, right? Yes or no? If you score less than 5 yeses, you are in a state of emergency, right? If you score about 1 or 2, right, you are in a state of financial coma and you need serious oxygen. You need to be placed on on oxygen, right? Because the way you are living, you are going to be in crisis very soon, right? Because consistently, when I have a session with married couples and I ask them, do you earn more than you are spending? A lot of people spend more than they are earning. And I ask them, the extra that you are spending, where is it coming from? They will tell you, I don't know how God is doing it. Oh, it's by grace, it's by miracle. Every time you make that statement, is an irresponsible statement. What you're saying is you are taking a loan from your future to serve your present, right? And that's why you need to do something as a matter of urgency to solve your financial problem. It's either you make money or you save more money, right? That many people are living above the lifestyle, above their earnings, right? They are living in a house that is bigger than what they are earning, right? And I mean, it's not out of place for you to sublet a room in your house if you are not making enough money, right? You have an office that you are paying for. It's not out of place to sublet some of the rooms that many of us, I mean, you have a family of 2, for example, living in a 6-bedroom duplex. So it means consistently there are 3 rooms that nobody is using, right? Or 2 rooms that nobody is using. Those rooms are enjoying free vacation. Nobody's occupying them. They are not maximized. It's a waste of resources, right? Which is why when I see the people in my generation still building a mansion, it's a proof that they have not learned the right lesson. Once you build a mansion, you will need more money to maintain it in the future, right? If it's just you, your wife, and 3 children, you don't need more than a 3-bedroom apartment or 4-bedroom at least, right? But people are building 7-bedroom mansion. They forget that your children are going to leave the house and they are not going to come back to that house. A lot of our parents who built mighty mansions in the village, nobody has gone there. My father has a house in the village. My mother has a house in a village. I have not been there in the last 10, 12 years thereabout because I have no business going there. So when you build a mansion, and your children are going to travel abroad, they're not going to come back, right? Then what happens to that mansion when you grow old, right? A lot of people are now trying to convert their mansion into bedroom, into flats. Why don't you start your life with that flat? Now, there are bad money paradigms that a lot of married people have. Number one, you hear things like a man without money will lose respect, and a man must be in control of funds. If your respect is tied to your ability to have money and control your family, I'm sorry to announce to you that you have no respect. Number two, all a woman knows is money. Hence, you must never fully disclose what you earn. As a matter of fact, we have a song, oh, lo binimo, oh, lo binimo. And when you hear our musicians sing, what they talk about all the time is that, once you have money, you can take any lady, It's rubbish, right? And it's an abuse of money management skills, right? That so you see them in their videos, they are showing themselves in a jet, and they're showing, these were people who were broke before. Now they have become musicians. They are flying private jets. They forget that money has wings. The money they are using to fly the private jet and keeping up with the Joneses could have consistently been invested in a direction that totally saves their generation from poverty, right? So when you make statements like all the woman knows is money, right? What if your wife is a financial director for your family, right? Number three, they say money is the root of all evil and women are the cause of the evil. It's not true. Money is not even the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. Now, the next money paradigm mistake we make is allowing your wife to take control of fund is a sign of weakness and will make you lose respect. Let me tell you, if your wife knows about money more than you, there is no pride about it. It's your family. You need to humble yourself and allow your wife take the lead, right? Because let me tell you, in my family, my wife she's my financial mentor. She's more intelligent than me because that is all she has devoted her life to understanding. I have not fully studied money. I can make money, but you see, my wife is a better money manager, right? So when you make statements like allowing your wife to take control of fund is a sign of weakness, let me tell you, man, you are weak indeed. Every time you take a financial decision without carrying your wife along, you are very, very weak and something is wrong with you, right? Now, I know that there are women who are very, very extravagant, that the moment they know that you have money, they want to spend it all. Now, the Bible says that there's much treasure in the till of a wise man, but a fool spends it all. So when people say to me, I cannot save, no, it's because you are waiting for what is left over to save. You need to save once your money comes in, save away from yourself, right? So You need to understand that allowing your wife to control funds, if she is the better money manager, is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Don't allow society and culture to mess up your home. Now, another bad money paradigm men have is that it is better to surprise her than to let her into your investment portfolio. Now, you are assuming that you have tomorrow. A lot of men have died today without their wives knowing what they have. I have seen women who used to be wives to EDs of banks now grind pepper in the market at the demise of their husband because they don't even know what he has, right? A lot of people are living on loan and people think they are rich. Meanwhile, they are living on a loan, which is why you cannot compare your life with what people are doing. People are living on borrowed life. People are driving a car that is on a loan, right? And you think, oh, wow, I want to be like them, right? People are living in expensive apartments that they can't afford. And you are saying, oh, wow, I want to be like them. See, don't try to be like everybody because people are doing show, right? All kinds of show on social media, which is why you need to cut your coat according to your clothes for now. Pending the time, you can now afford bigger clothes. Now, another more bad money paradigm is that others need to fail for you to succeed, which is the paradigm of the Yahoo guys. They think that the impoverishment of others is what will galvanize their own financial prosperity. You are digging your grave. Of course, you can see what has befallen Hush Puppy. So what do you need to do as a man to overcome this problem of bad money management? Number one, you need to first create your current snapshot. What is your current net worth? Do you know? Right? If you don't know your current net worth, you might want to sit with your wife and do a current snapshot of whatever you own in heaven and on earth, right? Don't talk about heaven. Your treasure is in heaven. Don't talk about treasure in heaven, right? What do you own right now in terms of asset and liability, right? When I did a current financial snapshot, that's one of my wife's area of competence. She helps families now do current snapshot. When we did our current snapshot, the first time we did it, my total net worth was zero. I was embarrassed. I thought I was rich because I was earning 300K per day that I showed up in the bank, but I was very poor. No investment, nothing. My investment portfolio was zero. I was shocked because, of course, you can't be counting all those buy shares, and at the end of the day, they will send you your dividend warrant, and it's 10 naira or 100 naira, and all those kind of. That's no, those are. It was zero. I was feeling bad until I saw a guy who came into the same class with the latest SUV, and his financial reality was minus $25,000. Yet he was driving a big car, right? So that day I realized that something was fundamentally wrong with me, and it was because what was taking my money away were things like unbudgeted expense. I would sit in my office and people will solicit for school fees, and I will pay without thinking of how to even pay my own children's school fees. I was doing the Lord's work. In fact, I used to call myself God's financial treasurer. It was a stupid statement I was making, right? I didn't have sense. I thought I had sense. It looked like spiritual sense. It was spiritual illiteracy and foolishness, right? So don't use religion to cover up your stupidity and now say, oh, you are doing the Lord's bidding. God told me to sow the money. God told me to sow the money. Excuse me. God is not a wicked God. He knows you are not stable. Why would he make demands in your instability when what God should be telling you is where to put money, the ideas to follow through with, so that you can build enough wealth and have enough money to give sustainably? Let me tell you, if you don't give today, the problem will still remain, right? And the people will not die. So don't always think it was someone who said that every time you say you are El Shaddai, you shall die, right? So what is your current snapshot? If you are listening to me and you don't know your net worth, you need to do something as a matter of urgency to know exactly where you are. If you don't know where you are, you won't know how fast you need to run, right? And how well you need to run. You might think that you are still young. You are not young. Once upon a time, I was 20. Now I'm going to be 42, right? You will always have time. What you will not, however, have is energy. Your strength will not always be there. The way you can run around at 30 and 40 is not the way you can run around at 60. So you want to know that technically, if you are 40, you have technically 20 years to still work at the highest level, right? Before diminishing return begins to set in, right? If you are 30, you know that you now have another 30 years, and those years fly. For example, this year, we are already in the 7th month. 3 or 4 months of those months, it was spent locked down at home, right? So if you are not careful, if COVID doesn't subside, we will be at home till December, right? And another year would have been gone, right? So what is your current snapshot? Number two, empower the most financially intelligent person to handle family finance, right? If your wife is a better money manager, let her become the financial director for the family from today. Number three, determine the future economic goal of your family. What lifestyle do you want to live in retirement? What lifestyle do you want to live in 20 years' time? Right now is the time to determine it. Someone says that it was Dr. Miles Monroe says, discipline is a decision that is dictated by predetermined destiny, that your long run must guide your short run. Where exactly do you want to go? What is your future economic goal? What kind of economy do you want your family to have in the future? You need to determine it today. And once you define it, what will it cost you to create that economy in terms of investment in assets? So, for example, I met a man who is an illiterate and he didn't go to school. And the man has 12 apartments, 12 flats that he built, right? He was an artisan. So I asked him, he was, I think 68 when I met him. And I said, Baba, why did you build 12 apartments? He took me to those apartments and he named each apartment January to December. So apartment 1 was January, apartment 2 was February, apartment 3 was. And I asked him, why did you do this? He said, my son, you know that I don't go school and I don't do government work, which means he didn't go to school. He doesn't do government work, which means he will not have a pension. So he said to me, my son, I had to make provisions for my old age. So what I have done is to create 12 houses that can give me money every month. So as at the time I went for that inspection, each of those flats was going for 800,000 naira. What that meant was that every month of the year, that man has 800,000 coming to him. Now, he has fulfilled Psalm 1 in the Bible. It shall be like a tree planted by irrigation channels, right? That brings forth his fruit in a season. His leaves shall not wither. Whatever he does, he shall prosper. Now, if you read that place, you may not understand it in King James Version. What it's saying is that it shall be like a tree planted by irrigation channel. Irrigation is not natural. It's a system you create artificially. The same way, you need to create your financial irrigation system that ensures that around the year, even if you don't work, you keep making money. So you need to determine your future economic goal. Let's say at 60, you want to be earning, let's say, 1 million every month now, and you are 40. What level of investment do you need to do that can earn you that amount, in your future? It can be intellectual property, it can be real estate, it can be, a business, it can be all kinds of investment, but you need to know what you need to invest that can give you 1 million naira in another 20 years, right? Or at retirement. But you also need to factor inflation and the time value of money. So you need to determine the financial economy goal of your family. Number 4, create an escrow account. An escrow account is an account that you put the money that is totally saved away from you. Your escrow account must not have ATM. Your escrow account, the money that enters there must go in the direction of asset buying. It must never be used for any purpose. God cannot even speak to you about your escrow account because your escrow account is not your money. It's the money for your future. So there must be no voice that tells my son, go and sow it into something. That voice must be silenced from your escrow account, because your escrow account, any money that enters there is no longer your money. It's the money for your future. And you cannot spend your future. You must invest your future and buy the future. So create an escrow account, right? As a matter of fact, what I recommend is put your escrow account in a bank that you don't like, a bank that irritates you to go there, right? Put your escrow account there and know that every money that moves out of your escrow account moves in the direction of asset buying, right? Number 5, stick to your budget. You need to create a family budget. My family placed me on a budget of 50,000 many years ago, and it saved my life. So even if I wanted to sow seed, all I had was 50,000, right? And I needed to sow within the ambits of that 50,000. The first month was very terrible for me because in 2 weeks I had spent my 50,000. So I went to meet my wife to say I need extra money, and she said, "Where do you want us to get it from? Should we give you part of your entertainment money for the family so that when it's time for family entertainment, we exclude you? Or do we take from our family vacation and give you so that when it's time to travel for vacation, you are not going to travel with us?" I had to think about it. So I had to manage painfully, right? And by the next month, I had become responsible. So all the people that would just come to me, Praise, can you send me 10,000 there? I could no longer do it. Why? Because I knew I needed to live within what I had, which was 50,000. But when I was in charge of family finance, I was just giving anyhow without even instructing my wife. And I would say to her, we say, God told me to give it. God, I was using God said to silence her, not knowing I was digging the future grave of our family finance, right? So you need to stick to your budget. What makes people poor is what we call unbudgeted expense. For example, you can cook from your house and take your food to work. Why will you spend 2,000 on eatery every day in the name of you are buying lunch that you don't even trust the integrity of how they cook the food, right? So you need to understand that there are little adjustments you need to make. So what is your budget for the month? You need to stick to your budget. You cannot be buying things on impulse. You cannot just go for a meeting and somebody will just say that come and empty your bank account, and you will go and empty your bank account. Did you plan to empty your bank account before you left your house? As many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. If God wanted you to empty your bank account, he should have told you before leaving your house so that you can prepare, right? Which is why my wife always said to me that every time a call is made, can we go back home and pray to God about it, right? Because when you go in the heat of the moment, you will lose your mind and go and give what you didn't plan to give. But if you take a pause and go back and subject it to prayer, God will tell you exactly what you need to give. So, for example, there was a call for sacrificial offering one time. And what did we do? We were running our gen 10 hours every day. So we decided to run it for 2 hours and inconvenience ourselves. The money for the fuel for the 8 hours, we put it aside and we took it down. Now, at the end of the day, it was about 20-something thousand, right? And when we gave it, right, somebody else would look at it and say, a man of your status, why do you give 20,000? But that 20,000 has cost us 10 hours of powering our fuel. It has cost us, our use of AC. It has cost us our house getting into darkness, right? It has cost us sweat, mosquito bite to bring out that kind of money. Do you understand? God knows that we have sacrificed our life to bring that money out. But someone might look at it and say it's small. It's a sacrifice offering. God is the one we are giving it to. He knows we have sacrificed to bring it out. And he knows how to reward us. You may not see it as a sacrifice. We know that we have sacrificed. So stick to your budget. You need to be very intentional about it because people become poor. They have no budget. So you see a guy, he made money, he's buying Bentley, he's buying stuff, and the guy is less than 40. Right, on other people's money, right? That's how people become poor. Number 6, invest in financial intelligence. That's my wife's strong area. You can follow her on all social media, right? Or engage her. She will tell you and teach you how to do all those things. Invest in financial intelligence. You need to be financial intelligent. My wife mentored me and she taught me financial intelligence. I have mastered it right now and it has helped me in taking financial decisions, right? I've not gotten to where I want to go to, but I'm not doing badly. And number 7, maximize your family oil to create a non-oil dependent economy. Let me explain that to you. Every family has got what we call family oil. Nigeria had oil, Dubai had oil, Malaysia had oil. Nigeria squandered their oil, spending it on leaders, frivolous living, and the future is here. We have no hospital, no healthcare, no infrastructure, nothing. Dubai used the same oil to develop an entire nation called UAE, right? So they built an economy that was no longer dependent on oil. They built tourism. Without oil, Dubai will survive. Do you understand? Right? The same way Malaysia has done. So the same way there is family oil. Family oil is whatever is bringing money to your family right now. The goal of family oil is not for you to sustain your family. The goal of family oil is for you to move it in the direction of income generating assets so that when the oil dries up, you have secured your future and you have enough money. Your oil can be your salary right now. It can be money coming from the deals, but there is something that is funding your lifestyle right now. It will not always be there. The oil will always dry. It will not fund your life forever. But what keeps the oil relevant is for you to diversify your investment and create income generating asset from that oil to secure your future so that when you grow old and that oil, maybe by retirement or by whatever, has stopped working, you have created other non-oil dependent economy that can sustain your family. So this is a word of advice for all of you, because some of you are earning big right now. You think that money will always be there. People have lost their job, in 24 hours. And their life has been thrown into crisis because there was no financial plan. So please, whatever is bringing oil, whatever oil is bringing money to you right now, you need to divest that investment into non-oil income generating assets, right? So that you can secure your future. Now, there are excellent quotes by Warren Buffett, who is one of the top investors in the world. Now, it says on earning, never depend on a single income. Make investment to create a second source. As a matter of fact, my mentor says that depending on one source of income is sitting on one-legged chair. If you try to sit on a chair with one leg, you know that you can't be balanced, right? Balance is 4 legs or minimum 3 legs at least. At least you will do, interim government, right? So you want to check your life and say, how do I at least create 4 sources of income, right? And that's what it's saying here, right? Then it says on spending. If you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell the things you need. That is Warren Buffett giving advice, and I think we need to listen to him. If you buy the things you do not need, soon you will have to sell the things you don't need. Some of you don't need a car. Don't buy a car if you don't need a car. We buy cars in Nigeria because our government has failed with transportation system. In a sensible nation, we may not need cars. Actually, if there was railway system, if the waterways were working, if the transport system is working. So to testify about car is because government has failed. We should not be testifying about we bought a car, right? It's because there's gross poverty and government has failed. In fact, it's proof that our transportation system has collapsed, right? So buy the things you need, right? Because it says if you buy the things you do not need, so you will have to sell the things you need. Now on savings, it said, do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving, which means from every money you make, save first. Save first. Pay yourself first. Don't wait till what is left. If you wait for what is left, there will not be anything to save. Place yourself on the percentage. Every money that comes into your hand, save a percentage, at least 20%, right? On taking risk, it says, never test the depth of river with both the feet. Never test the depth of the river with both feet, because the waves of the sea may sweep you away, right? So don't test an investment with all you have, right? Your life can be taken away from you. All you have can be taken away from you. If it is too good to be true, please run away. If you see any investment that looks too good, please run away, because your life is about to be taken away from you. On investment, Warren Buffett says, do not put all your eggs in one basket. That is clear enough. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Then on expectation, he says, honesty is very expensive gift. Do not expect it from cheap people. Honesty is very expensive gift. Do not expect it from cheap people. It costs you nothing to go for financial intelligence class, not the free ones. Pay a coach. Pay someone to analyze your financial income for you. That's something my wife does so well. She helps a lot of families analyze their income, right? Pay someone who knows what he's doing. Don't pay people who are experimenting with your life, who are creating hype on social media, posting in front of cars, and making you feel something is wrong with you. That is not how rich people think, right? A man told me, he's one of the richest guys in Kenya. He said the first meeting he was going for with Bill Gates. He went to rent a limousine, a long limousine, black, to impress Bill Gates. And when he got to the meeting, Bill Gates came in a Skoda. He said he had to discharge limousine because he felt so ashamed of himself as a black man that he carried a limousine to go and meet the richest man in the world who came in a Skoda. Right? There is no need to impress people. We will all have the future. There are people who are rich today who are going to be poor in their future, right? All of us are very susceptible to poverty. One health crisis, people can become poor. May that not be your portion. But it's not just in prayer, it's in action. We need to mitigate against it by creating a lifestyle, that promotes mental wellness, that promotes financial wellness, which is why you need to invest in financial intelligence. Please, carry your wife along. It's helpful for your family when both of you are financially intelligent. And if your wife is a spendthrift, take her to Banana Island. Let her look at all the houses there and ask her, sweetheart, what will it be like if we come and live here in 10 years? Wow. She'll say, wow, there's no problem. I would love to do that. But what do you think we need to do right now to ensure that we come and live here in 10 years? What do we need to begin to cut off? Then she will begin to say, oh, maybe I don't need to buy the next shoe. Maybe I don't need to buy that next car. Maybe I don't. There is no point impressing people now, right? It's better to become stingy today so that you can, live the life of your dreams in the future. Guys, there is much still in the treasure of a wise man. The fool spends it all. If your wife is a better money manager, let your wife take charge of family finance and save you from yourself. Many of us need to be saved away from ourselves. My wife saved me from me. Many of your wives can save you from you. It's a classic mistake married men make, thinking they know. If you don't know about family finance, please talk to your wife and let her guide you. And please don't take bad financial decisions without carrying your wife along. She might just be able to save you from you. Oftentimes we silence our wife by saying, God told you, God told you, God told you. Please desist from that voice telling you it may not be God, especially when what you want to do does not pass the test of common sense or common investment decision. Please save your family, save yourself, and create a future that you're going to be proud of. Thank you so much for all of you who have joined me today. We are on Common Mistake 8 that married men make. I'll be back tomorrow, God's willing. Till then, keep loving, keep living, and remember that you are a savior, I'm a savior. Together, we can save the world from the crisis that our world is going through right now. And if you have not taken a course in my school, online school, you can go to my e-learning platform, school.iampraisforward.com. Pick a course of your choice that can transform your family. All kinds of courses are there. I look forward to working with you and ensuring that your life works. Your life must work by force, especially in this season, right? And I'm your favorite when it comes to family life management, right? So let us help you to build the life of your dream. Thank you so much for all of you who have joined me on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Thank you so much. Please call your friends and let them know 3 a.m. we are here every day. Let them not miss out from all that we are learning. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.